Yeah. Hello. Hello. I'm gonna be honest, I'm having a really shitty day, but we're here and I'm running so very behind, but let's get into this, shall we? Alright, let me know if y'all can hear that okay, if it's too loud. Not loud enough. Captions are on, but it's also live streamed, so they may or may not be any good. I'm gonna put an extra copy of the bingo card here just so I can make it big so we can see it, but I'm gonna minimize it for the most part. Mostly because I can't see it on my OBS. It's okay, it's just health stuff. It's life. But welcome in, buckle up. See what nuggets of wisdom our fearless leader is about to drop on us today. It's okay. It's okay. I don't really want to talk about it. Sorry, I shouldn't have said anything. I'm fine. Guessing defunding Social Security. I don't think they'll come right out and like directly do that. I think we're more likely to see something happen to Medicare first. I think that's probably more likely. Could turn up the volume of the video. No one's talking right now, yeah. It's just like ambient. This is the PBS feed, so I don't think there's any like commentary or anything. It'll just be the speech itself. This is what we have for a bingo card for those of you who aren't in the Discord. So we're looking for racist, anti-immigrant rhetoric. We're looking for Dems walking out. We have Trump calling tariffs a success already. I almost put a block of women all wearing the same color. D, I mentioned Trump complains about the judges blocking his bullshit, complaining about Zelensky, any mention of eggs. Dems holding up protest signs, a mention of the designated survivor, even though this is not a State of the Union, definitely do not call it that. Harmful anti-trans rhetoric, a mention of Joe Biden, a mention of Kamala Harris, a mention of anything Doge, a mention of his assassination attempt, which we've mysteriously not really talked about for a very long time now. Marjorie Taylor Greene fangirling a little too hard. I will also accept Lauren Boebert doing so. And Elon dancing. That's what we're looking for this evening. And I'm counting on you all to help me, because again, once I have this large one minimized, I can't really read the spots on the one underneath my camera, so. We'll see. This is also a much smaller bingo card than we usually use. we are doomed. As always, Razor, your contributions are always so deeply intellectual and so valuable to the overall conversation. Thank you. High intricate. What concept? The bingo card? That's certainly not my original idea, but usually when we do these sorts of co-streams, we try to have a bingo card. Hi, Jezebel. She needs to get her roots touched up. Not that Frosty Tools. Not the comrades. That is a good color on Nancy, whoever styled her. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is oh, you can't see. This is like every baby drag queen who just like writes slurs on the dress. She had, I believe it was the 14th Amendment written on her jacket. I almost put on the bingo card Melania wearing a ridiculous hat. Glad to see that she did not choose to do so, and I'm glad I left it off the bingo card. Oh, we want that 1080p. I was like, why is it so blurry? That's fine, Jezebel. Nobody has to watch. Let's be clear. Like, nobody has to watch. You don't have to be here if you don't want to be or if it's not comfortable. Hey, what is this? Yikes. I could never go to one of these things, no matter who the president is. All of the like fake, like ass kissing, I couldn't. I don't think I have it in me. I need one of you to count standing ovations as well. There's got to be a record someone's keeping somewhere of the most standing ovations at one of these. Definitely not a State of the Union addresses. Not the white, green, and red. No, ma'am. I just know it's got to be so warm in that room. That many people packed in, and that's not that big of a room. I bet it's warm, and I bet it either smells terrible or it smells like every different variety of Axe has been sprayed all at once. It's either the overwhelming smell of old people or the overwhelming smell of like perfume and body spray. Or maybe a little of both. It's warm so the old people like it and it reeks of Bengay. Maybe. Maybe. Hi Doxy, welcome in. Are we surprised they're starting late? No, we are not. In fact, no, we are not. I hope you all enjoyed celebrating National Pancake Day today. Not 79 degrees. I've had my house set at 88 degrees for the last 3 months because my heat pump sucks so much. I need everybody to sit down and get their shit together. It's time to get this thing going. Y'all can shoot the shit later. Reminder, this is our bingo card. It is also in our Discord. Nothing happens if we get a bingo. Razor said for every mark that we make on this card, he's gonna gift 5 subs. So that's what we have to look forward to. 4 times, so that's 16. What's 16 times 5? 80? 80 subs if we get a blackout? I can live with that. I know a dog who would benefit from that. So those are the spots we're looking for. I think we have a good chance of getting most of them. I feel like if there's one that we won't get, it'd probably be the designated survivor mention. But I was watching that show last week and I thought it was fun. How much better off we'd be if the entire building just launched to Mars and never came back? I mean, then they'd all be martyrs. I'm not sure that we'd necessarily be that much better. Look how people reacted when they thought all that was happening was we were stealing an election from him. Imagine if there was reason to believe that there was some sort of conspiracy to remove him from power in one form or another. They would just get that much worse. Although I don't see Elon. Maybe Elon's gonna walk in with him. I would have thought if nothing else he would have come in with the cabinet. But maybe we're just not pretending that he's not the one pulling the strings anymore. Let's get this show on the road, everybody. Come on. It's already weird that we're starting this at 9 p.m. on a school night. Let's see if he glitches. I don't know. The phone right in his face.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
No, she's not. Oh. She looks fucking mortified. She looked like she saw a ghost, honey. She looked like she just realized she married that fucker. Oh, that was good. I needed that. Gooped. That was funny. Very that Doxy. He's so unattractive. I know that that has nothing to do with him being president and his ability to be a president, but it matters to me. Profile is crazy, yeah. Oh, is that what that was, Doxy? I didn't see. It's not unusual for people to have signs, and a lot of whenever there are these sort of like joint sessions or joint like addresses to Congress, there's a lot of like symbolism, and a lot of members of Congress will bring guests that are very intentional and have something to do with like a particular issue that they might be debating at that time. There will be a lot of folks who bring like members of the military, or we might have some folks who bring like a guest who's trans as a way of like making a statement. So it's not unusual. Just as important as the things he's going to say is the sort of like pomp and circumstance of it all, the way that folks show up to these things is also a statement in and of itself. Shaking hands with all of the unqualified justices he crammed onto the court. As one does. These are, I believe, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, so the heads of each of the branches of the military. Yikes. He's not going to read any of that shit sitting in front of him. That thick-ass binder, he's not reading a single page out of that. I don't think he's going to stick to those teleprompters either. The energy is very different on the other side of the aisle this evening. It is weird to see these like 70-year-old men acting like they're at like a football game when it's just another 70-year-old man standing at a lectern about to lie to their faces. Hi, Beth. Andy, once he starts talking, let me know if the audio is still good.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States.
They need to stop panning to her. She's never ready. She's never prepared. He's quiet? Really? I've got him about as loud as he can go without blasting the speakers out. Let me know if that helps.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back.
Where did we go? It's wild how he gets away with this, like... Yikes.
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
His ears are literally a different color than his face. Yeah, well, yeah, he got shot.
I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before.
He talks like his teeth aren't real, and I know I've said that before, and I have no proof to back that up.
The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. There's never been anything like it. The
Exactly, Beth,
presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes.
We've already had too many standing ovations. I'm already at my limit.
We won the popular vote by big numbers.
Oh yeah, Beth. He called him Hitler. This is embarrassing for them.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican.
The pointing is very gay. It's very
Now, for the first time
park
in
and bark
modern history,
at the drag
more
brunch.
Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever.
All these old men on the Republican side
Likewise,
do not have it in them to do this many squats, getting up and down like
Small
this.
business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Here's the thing he's not going to talk about. His approval ratings have plummeted since the election.
Decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Oh, I'm sure they will, Beth. There are probably some members who are
Mr. Green, take your seat.
banking on that.
Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order.
Proper decorum. This party is gonna sit here and bark about proper decorum. They literally had people climbing the walls and threatening to like burn this building down just a few years ago. And they're gonna preach about decorum.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders.
It's also
and
embarrassing
taken more
for all
than
of them that this is
400
what like
executive
our
actions, a record
Congress, our
to
government has
restore
degenerated
common
to.
sense,
Like
safety, optimism,
legitimately
and
for
wealth
both
all
sides. Like this
across
is
our wonderful land. The people
this is
elected
beyond
me
childish.
to do the job, and I'm doing it.
High wheels. Oh, we have our signs. I put signs on there, right?
In fact, it
Dems
has
hold
been
up
stated
signs.
by many
Yes, ma'am.
that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency, is the
We have
most
signs,
successful
first one.
in the history of our nation. By many.
I don't think so.
And what makes it
It is
even more
Luigi.
impressive is that, do you know who number 2 is?
It is indeed.
George Washington. How about that? How about that? I don't know about that list, but
What do you
we'll
think George
take it.
Washington would say if he was here right
Within
now?
hours of
Do you think he'd be
taking
happy?
the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and border patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever.
Yeah. Most of us don't want to be here right now. Why would anybody else want to come here?
They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison,
Is it
under
because they
Joe
heard your
Biden,
words and chose not to come,
the
or because you
worst
put the
president
military at the
in
border?
American history. There
Which
were
one?
hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums,
I didn't
were
mention, did we get one?
released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me,
Slay.
and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history.
But you won't, because you're defunding all the
or
people who do that.
stoppage of crime to
What do you
the
mean?
lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what.
I like the woman who was like, "You're hell fucking right, I'm not."
It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
Well, Adam didn't walk out. He was kicked out. He was kicked out.
So Democrats sitting before me,
There's still
just
plenty of
this
time,
one
don't worry.
night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
I thought she was crying. It's like, girl, me too. She needs to reapply her gloss.
Every day my administration is fighting to deliver.
Yeah, we're making America great again.
change America needs to
The squeakquel.
bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid.
Imagine clapping for that. Imagine clapping for that. I put a freeze on giving any money to anybody who's starving, who has
I
AIDS.
terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions
Fuck the environment.
of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council.
Yeah, you really showed them. Fuck.
We ended
Anti-American.
all of Biden's environmental restrictions
Human
that
rights
were
are
making our
anti-American.
country far
Ain't that
less
the
safe
truth?
and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate saving our auto workers and companies from economic
Cut to Elon.
destruction. To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first term.
Girl. So we're just making shit up.
And in that first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job.
It should be noted that today the Supreme Court ruled that they should make it easier for cities to dump more raw sewage into waterways.
Allowed to viciously prosecute his political
Really doing a great
opponents
job of cutting back those
like me.
regulations.
How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good.
I do like the petty signs.
And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back.
Is it though? He literally tweeted, or whatever he calls it on his platform, that colleges shouldn't allow
And 2 days ago,
illegal
I
protests.
signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America.
At the end of all of these,
The
you need to
Gulf
imagine
of
that what he's
Mexico,
actually
the
saying is
Gulf of America.
for some of us. Because yeah, free speech is back. For who?
And likewise, I renamed for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska.
Who asked for that?
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military.
DEI mention?
And our country will be woke no longer. We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted
Bold of
based
him to
on
bring up air
skill
traffic
and
controllers.
competence, not race or gender. Very important.
As the room full of white
You
men
should be
clap.
hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have removed the poison of critical race
Nothing.
theory from our public schools, and I signed an order
They
making
said, don't you give us credit for that
policy
shit.
of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
We used to have a policy that some people weren't full people. I didn't make it right.
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports.
Not
3
Ben.
years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the
Invaded?
ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing
That she
dramatic
became a
brain
conservative.
injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
I mean, what was she going to do? Play professional women's volleyball? Let's be clear. Let's be clear. If they really cared about women's sport, there would actually be more potential for more women to go into professional sport. But they don't.
If you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer.
Here's the thing. No actual normal people give a shit about trans people this much. For better or worse.
What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans.
Mention eggs.
Never had anything like it.
Eggs.
We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even
Eggs.
in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm
Hi,
fighting
midnight.
every day
Not much.
to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
That one doesn't have the same hit to it. Our egg prices would beg to differ.
Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control.
Oh!
The egg price is out of control.
Donald, I knew I could count on
We're
you.
working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You
I
inherited
knew
a
I could
total
count on you,
mess from
baby.
the previous administration. Do a good job.
Eggs mentioned. Eggs mentioned.
A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now.
I wouldn't trust my drink around any of the people in this room.
And frankly, we have never seen anything
And neither would Melania.
like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And
Not the
now
liquid gold.
I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
I know, when he was talking about the talented team, I thought he was going toward Doge.
My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA.
Rare earths? They're called rare earth minerals, you dumbass. Oh my God. That's the shit that you were going to take from Ukraine.
To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars.
Oh, here we go. We're going to get our Doge.
And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. Doge. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps.
So stupid. So stupid. Come on, dance. Dance, Elon.
Which is headed
Dance,
by
Elon.
Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
Dance, Elon. Damn. Elizabeth Warren is playing Farmville. Candy Crush.
Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this.
Too bad.
He didn't need this. Thank you very much.
He looks
We
like a
appreciate
lizard.
it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified.
Oh, here we go.
$22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is.
He sure doesn't.
$8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment.
So the problem here is,
Central
among
America,
many things,
$60 million.
for a lot of
$8 million
folks
for
in
making
these
mice
countries,
transgender.
if there
This
was
is
no
real.
foreign aid, if U.S. aid in particular
$32 million
didn't exist,
for a left-wing
the only interaction
propaganda
a lot of people in these
operation
countries would
in
have with us would be through our
Moldova.
military.
$10 million
So this
for
aid
male
is crucial in ensuring that
circumcision
we
in
don't end up with every
Mozambique.
other nation in the world turning into
$20
something
million
like
for
Syria,
the Arab
where
Sesame
they hate
Street
us because
in the
all we've
Middle
done,
East
all they know of the
program.
United States is
$20
us going in
million
and
for program.
bombing the shit out of their country.
$1.9 billion
So US aid is
to
as much a
recently
diplomacy tool as it is about
created
actually helping people.
Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million
All the
for
countries he's
social
pointing out
and behavior
are also in
change
Africa.
Uganda.
This is intentional.
$14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia.
That's fine, Beth. Thank you for the alert.
$47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. We know what we're doing. We should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. The most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them.
My question is,
many more have
if these
been
things are all
found
so
out
terrible,
and exposed and swiftly terminated.
why didn't
by
he do
a
anything about them
very
during his first term?
Intelligent, mostly young people.
If these are all so terrible
Elon, and we appreciate it,
and
we
such
found
immediate threats
hundreds
to our
of
democracy,
billions of dollars of fraud.
why did he spend 4 full years in office not even mentioning any of them? Not even talking about any of this shit. But now all of a sudden, DEI is our top priority.
And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taking back a lot of that money.
Inflation's going back up.
In time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels
Most of that fraud is committed by
incompetence
insurance
and
companies,
probable fraud in the
not individuals.
Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old.
That's not how that works.
It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that
Because your
elderly.
Social Security number doesn't just disappear when you die.
3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. 3.5 million people
He's so
from
stupid.
ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them, and we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid, and nobody does, and it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby. Including,
Yeah, this is all bullshit.
finished, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One person between the age of 240 and 249. And one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going.
Yeah,
And
it's not
gonna be
individuals
pretty,
that commit
but
the vast
slashing all
majority
the
of fraud when it
waste
comes
and
to
theft we can find. We will
any,
defeat
like,
inflation,
social
bring down
safety net.
mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families. And today,
These chips are so
interest
salty.
rates
Oh my
took a
God.
Beautiful drop.
Like burn my mouth.
Beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years: balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it.
So you're saying you didn't do that during your first term either? All these things that have never been done before. You used to be president. Why didn't you do them then?
With that goal in mind, we
That's
have
where I wish
developed
more
in
people
great
were going. Like,
detail
don't let
what
him get
we're
away with saying
calling
bullshit
the
like this without
gold
calling out the
card,
fact that this is his
goes
second crack at all of
on sale
this.
very, very soon.
Why weren't any of these things
For
important to him last
$5
time?
million, we will allow the most successful.
Why weren't any of these things a
job-creating
priority for you
people
last
from
time?
all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people
I don't know about
will
all
have
that,
to pay
Kenny. He's not
tax
old
in our
enough.
country. They won't have to pay tax from
And he
where
won't
they
be old
came.
enough for a while.
The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for
What
a
is he
company
talking
out
about?
there. So while
I've
we
lost
take out
track of.
the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country. We will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money.
Is that how you think this works?
Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned
No, he's
our
talking about
deficits,
H-1B
and held back
visas.
America's potential
The good immigrants
in every
who get to come in
possible
because
way.
they have jobs
The
or
nation
degrees
founded
that are
by
highly desirable.
Pioneers and risk takers now drowns
The type of visa that
millions and
Elon keeps
millions of
advocating for.
pages of regulations and
We want
debt.
immigrants as long as they're like
Approvals
doctors
that
and
should take 10 days
engineers.
to get, instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the
Because democracy,
swamp.
right?
It's very simple. And the days of
We're bringing
rule
back
by
democracy,
unelected
and anybody who
bureaucrats
disagrees,
are
I'm going to kick
over.
you out of office. Because this is democracy.
And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right.
Yeah,
I don't
same,
mean
Andy.
the
I think I can
Republican
read mine now,
right,
actually.
But my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax cuts. Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors.
I think he thinks those are bigger issues for people than they are. Oh!
And I also
That's going to be a meme.
want to make
That's gonna be a meme.
payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made.
No, they're
That's
not.
a combination
They're
of the election
not.
win and tariffs. It's a
Nope.
beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other
again.
policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants.
That's what a lot of them do now, Kenny.
With Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest.
These tariffs are going to make it so that they can't do that anymore because they'll have to pay the tariffs every time the parts cross the border. What he doesn't seem to be factoring in is that even if they do choose to move their manufacturing all into the United States, that's not something that happens overnight. That will take, for some of them, years to actually make happen.
A date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country.
And their prices are going to skyrocket while they do.
In addition, as part of our tax cuts,
you can't just pop up a factory overnight in fucking Ohio.
Production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country. First term. We had a great first term.
I don't know about all that. Great first term, but he still didn't do any of this other shit he's complaining about now.
Make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea. But that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States.
I don't know if we have many friends left at this point.
On April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us...
The thing is, he's not even funny. Like, they keep laughing. And I'm trying to, like, put myself in their shoes. Even if I were a conservative,
they tax
he's
not
funny.
Them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market.
So we're going to tariff them into the ground, but if they try to do the same thing to us,
we will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it.
We have to have something else on our card, right?
For decades by nearly every country on earth.
I'm going to give us the tariff one.
Will not let that happen.
I feel like he hasn't explicitly said that, but close enough, I think.
Said over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada.
I also think we can probably mark off Marjorie.
With both of them, but even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything.
Have a good night, Andy.
They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer.
Fentanyl doesn't even come from... I mean, some of it does, but that's not where most of it is coming from now.
Our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment.
Kamala mentioned.
Called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA.
It's the fullest card we've had. I know. Well, normally our card, we get a little more ambitious.
And we're not giving them
and we
any
pick some
money.
like
Your
more
CHIPS
niche
Act
things, but this time honestly, I was just rushing through it, and this is what I ended up with.
Billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people. And they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to.
Our debt continues to climb. In fact, if Congress doesn't do something about it, I believe we're about to face another government shutdown because we're about to hit our debt ceiling again.
Our new trade policy will
I believe in the
also be
next like
great
10
for
days.
the American farmer. I love the farmer. Who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because
and half their shit's going to get recalled because there's nobody inspecting it for, I don't know, botulism.
Companies, they're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in. And they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did.
They didn't. You gave them money to offset all the money they were losing.
That was great. The problem with
his administration quite literally cut checks to farmers to make up for all of the product that they couldn't sell.
We were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen. And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel.
The way she's just on her phone
we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things. We don't.
She's on DoorDash, just waiting for him to wrap it up so she can hit place order.
Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama, Jeff Denard. Has been
she doesn't write her own
at
tweets.
The same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great, Jeff.
Holy fuck. Hard pass. 40 foster children? Absolutely not.
Thank you, Jeff. Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again
What?
and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen
Girl.
rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be
You're
much.
okay with that.
No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us. Very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. And I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States.
I want them to keep one camera on her the entire time. Give me a little picture-in-picture down here in the corner. I just want to see her reactions to everything.
Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they
She's
enter
still
the
trash, and I don't
workforce.
like her, but
Our First Lady is joined by two
She is
impressive
funny.
young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher. And Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you.
so you're
John.
simultaneously railing against deepfake porn, which you should,
Thank you all
while
very
also
much.
simultaneously getting into bed with every big like AI CEO.
Thank you. And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law.
Why is he making that face?
Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody.
Oh my fuck. Nobody's making
Thank you
deep
very
fake
much,
illicit
Steve.
images of you,
Thank you.
girl. Promise.
But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast.
I mean, most of that's just not true.
And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol.
He looks like a
I want to
gremlin.
Thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to. Last year,
I keep seeing all of these conservative women and thinking about the TikTok trend with their makeup, and it's so true.
the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Lakin was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Lakin was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Lakin's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren.
Yikes.
Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny, that's why. Because she believes he's doing something about it. She believes that he's going to make sure that there won't be more people like her daughter.
It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley.
That's why. I mean, I don't really hold it against them. I think they probably truly believe that this law is going to prevent something like what happened to their daughter from happening again.
The administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded.
Hi, Caves. Welcome in.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed
was to break the law.
A new president.
Yeah, this thing is full of contradictions. We fixed the border. Border crossings are at their lowest ever, but also
Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America.
As embarrassing as he is, I get more cringe from these two fucking goons behind him having to spend this entire time.
There's much work to be done.
So true, sir. Yes, sir.
Woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store.
She does not look old enough to have a 12-year-old daughter.
Assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged.
Wow, way to just rattle all that shit off right in front of her mother.
Alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful,
for now, until he lets someone drill it,
34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order?
He loves holding up the orders for the camera. He loves it. You know what? I'll give credit where credit is due. I think this is a nice gesture. I don't think he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He's doing it as like a political
All
fucking
three savages
move.
charged with
But
Jocelyn and Lakin's
that's a really kind gesture.
murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations.
Well, he hasn't done that yet. He hasn't done anything with overtime yet. But he did say earlier that's one of the things he wants to do.
They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the
ISIS
Biden
still exists.
administration. But now
Al-Qaeda still
every last
exists.
one will
We
be
gave
rounded
Afghanistan
up
back
and
to Al-Qaeda.
forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them
Or
back ever.
we'll ship them to El Salvador and
with
let them
us
put
this
them in their
evening
prison.
is a warrior on the front lines of that battle.
Or what was it, Costa
Border
Rica, I think
Patrol
was the other
agent
one.
Roberto Ortiz, great guy.
He really said, get me a Latino member of Border
January,
Patrol.
Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande,
Get me a good
near
brown
an area
person.
known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them, Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took, and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much.
Ew, not the... Love you, Donald.
Thank you, Roberto. And I actually got to
Love
know
you, bestie.
him on my many calls to the border. He's a great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The
So we're gonna bomb
cartels are
them.
waging war in America.
We're gonna
and it's
invade
time
them.
for
We're gonna take all their
America to
precious
wage
metals.
war on the cartels, which we are doing.
There it is. We're going in, baby.
Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada
Too much lip filler in
to
that
do
one.
much more than they've done, and they have to stop
Too
the
far, Christy.
fentanyl and
You went
drugs
too far.
pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we
Yeah,
will
all of the things that the president of
eliminate these
Mexico
threats
agreed to were things that they've already been
protect our
doing. The
homeland,
same thing was true with
complete
Canada.
the largest deportation
Both of them were like,
operation in
yeah,
American
we'll do those
history,
things.
larger even than
But they were all things that they've
current
been
record
doing.
holder, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it.
He has a vocabulary of about 10 words.
And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns.
And again, that wasn't that important to him in his first term.
In recent years,
But now he needs new
our
boogeymen.
justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics.
Say judges.
Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against
Complain about the judges.
political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck.
Oh yeah,
Pam
I'm sure
Bob,
we got the best minds in the country on this shit.
good luck. So important. Going to do a great job.
You know what?
Cash, thank you. Thank you, Cash.
I'm gonna make a judgment call and give us the judges one. I think that's about as close as we're gonna get. And it's close enough for me.
They've already started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job.
We're clearing this card tonight, everybody. Get ready.
We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection,
Enjoy your
and
ads,
respect
everybody.
they
Love you,
so
mean it.
dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will.
The bad guys don't respect the law.
This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them.
Our firemen, our firewomen, our
Besides
fire
that, they voted
NBs.
for me in record numbers, so I have no choice. One year ago this month, 31-year-old
The
New
Dems
York
haven't walked out. I think a
police
lot of them
officer
who
Jonathan
would have walked
Diller,
out just didn't come.
Unbelievably
They just didn't show
wonderful
up.
person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's
Went by the name Killer.
service, and when I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Stephanie, we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero. New York.
You're gonna name an
finest,
animal refuge after him
and
too.
we're going
Everybody's
to get
getting an
these
animal
cold-blooded killers
refuge
and
tonight.
Repeat offenders off our streets, so we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here.
He's taking
I've already
notes.
signed an
He's like, I like
executive
these
order
ideas.
requiring a
I'm gonna start doing some of that shit
mandatory death penalty
myself.
for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law.
This is pretty standard behavior, yeah. I mean, it's a lot more polarized than it has been in the past. I remember watching. This also isn't a State of the Union address, so this is
I'm also asking
supposed to be
for a
him
new
telling us
crime
what
bill
he's
getting tough on
about
repeat
to do,
offenders
but he has spent most of his
while
time talking about all the great
enhancing
things he's
protections for
accomplished.
America's
But
police
it's not unusual
officers
for it to be like
so they
very
can do their
partisan in
jobs
this way.
without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed. Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ
I don't think that's
Daniel. He is
necessarily the
13
case,
years
Midnight.
old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
I think a lot of them are just uncomfortable to be on camera, to be fair. And a lot of them are there because of their like murdered family members. So it's hard to, like, you don't want to look happy to be there as the president of the United States is talking about how your daughter was murdered. Simba. It's just so awkward.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
Don't pick him up again. Leave him alone. Razor, are you still watching? Are you still in chat?
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest
Kiki.
honor of them all.
Do I have a mod in
asking
chat?
our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Put the fucking dude down. What are we doing? Stop. This is so awkward. He is shook.
Thank you, DJ.
It is cute, but is that really what you brought
DJ's
the entire
doctors
United
believe
States
his
Congress
cancer
together for?
likely came from a chemical he
Is
was
that what everybody is
exposed to when
watching
he was
for?
younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr.
Yikes. Mr. Anti-vaxxer himself. Well, he supports the measles vaccine now that we've got people dying of measles again.
With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget. Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and
It's
keep
almost
our
like
children
one side doesn't
healthy
just
and strong.
blindly applaud because of
As an
who somebody is.
example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36. Think of that. So we're going to find out what it is.
Yeah, this is the
There's
party
nobody
that
better than Bobby
couldn't
and
get
all of the
Hillary
people
Clinton
that
elected
are working with you. You have
twice.
the best to
Clearly,
figure
the
out
name is not
what
enough.
is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you.
Yikes.
Good job. Thank you.
Gonna get to the
My
bottom of this as soon as he's done
administration is also
defunding
working
literally
to
everything they
protect our
do.
children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January, Littlejohn and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January
She has
and her husband
no lips.
while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronouns.
Not the pronouns. Oh my God.
January
The real
was here
threat.
tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Not the bow.
Thank you. Stories like this are why, shortly after taking
Good
office,
job.
I signed
Your kids are gonna grow up to hate you.
banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology.
Well,
I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth.
great, because that doesn't happen. That's not happening.
And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body.
It literally only happens when a doctor believes not doing so would lead to the child killing themselves.
And our message to every
It's not
child
like
in
it's just
America
happening
is
fucking
that you are
willy-nilly.
perfect exactly the way God made you.
Yikes.
Because we're getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is
Define
bad.
wokeness. I'm so sick of them using these fucking words that they can't even define.
For it, don't we? Don't we feel better?
What is wokeness?
Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations.
Wild how much he's highlighting his cabinet, knowing that most of them are
And
super
he's
unpopular.
not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference.
We're celebrating that?
And you know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country, and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing, and thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. We're joined tonight by a young man, Jason
Right.
Hartley, who knows the weight of that Call of Duty. Jason's father,
Call of Duty?
grandfather, and great-grandfather all
used to
wore
play that
the
game.
uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a six-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
Not the American flag crosspin. That's laying it on a little bit thick, I think. It's also a violation of U.S. flag code. Not that they give a shit about that either.
And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets.
This feels like a talk show. I feel like I'm watching Oprah. Like handing out fucking prizes to people.
Thank you. Jason, you're going to be on the long gray line, Jason. As Commander-in-Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA.
We already have a missile defense system. Something like what he's talking about would be
And Ronald Reagan
wildly expensive because of how big our country is.
Technology just wasn't there, not even close. But now we have the technology.
Especially if you're trying to protect Alaska and Hawaii too.
And other places they have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too, right, Tim? Right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you. But it's a very, very important. This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens like never before. To boost our defense industrial base, we are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding. And for that purpose, I am announcing
he's going to spend all this money
that we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it.
Well, he's going to spend all this money, build all the shit we don't need or want, make the government bigger. He's adding more offices. This is the party that's supposed to be about small government.
Buying both ports.
And he's going to lower taxes too.
Canal, and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others. But others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built.
Going to disagree with you on that one, Kenny.
History, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1, but that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
We outspend the next like 10 countries on our military combined. So it's kind of wild to say something like that, I'll be honest.
And we have Marco Rubio in charge. Good luck, Marco. Now, we know who to blame if anything goes wrong. Marco's been amazing, and he's going to do a great job. Think of it.
He said, it's your ass if this doesn't happen.
You know, he was approved with actually 99, but the 100th was this gentleman, and I feel very certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes. And I'm either very, very happy about that or I'm very concerned about it. But he's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody.
You just know, Marco Rubio has wanted to be Secretary of State for a very long time.
Thank you.
I can't imagine this is how he wanted it to happen.
He's doing a great job.
This can't possibly be what he had in mind.
Great job. And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland.
Oh my God.
We strongly support your right
Leave
to
them
determine
fuck
your
alone.
own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working
Girl.
with everybody involved to
Fuck
try
off.
and get it. But we need it really for international world security. And I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it.
That's
We will keep you safe.
not something you want to hear a
We will
president
make
say.
you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism.
The reason Greenland is so
3.5 years
important to
ago,
him
ISIS terrorists killed 13
is that because of
American
global
service
warming,
members
climate change,
and countless others in the Abbey
there are
Gate bombing
shipping
during
lanes that are
the
about to open up through the Arctic
disastrous
Circle
and
that never
incompetent
existed
withdrawal
before.
from
There will be
Afghanistan.
places that aren't covered in
Not
ice
that they were withdrawn,
year-round
it was
anymore.
The way they withdrew.
And the United States
Perhaps
currently
the most
doesn't have the strongest
embarrassing moment in the
claim,
history
territorial
of our
claim,
country.
to the North Pole and to those
Tonight,
shipping
I'm
lanes.
pleased to announce
But if we
that
had
we
Greenland,
have just
we would have a much
apprehended
stronger
the
claim to that territory as
top
well.
terrorist responsible for that
And
atrocity.
whatever
And he is right
oil
now
might be
on his
underneath
way
there,
here
whatever
to face the
metals
swift
we might be able to mine out of there,
sword
all of that we would have a
American
much stronger claim
justice.
to. That's what he's talking about.
And I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this monster. This was a very momentous day for those 13 families who I actually got to know very well, most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly, over 42 people, so badly injured on that fateful day in Afghanistan. What a horrible day. Such incompetence was shown that when Putin saw what happened, I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad it was. Should have never
God.
happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line, and they did nothing but cry with
Greenland is
happiness.
technically
They
a
were
NATO,
very
yeah.
happy.
It's a territory
As
of
happy as
Denmark.
you can be under those circumstances.
But
Their
there has been a growing
child,
movement in Greenland
brother,
to push
sister,
for independence from Denmark,
son, daughter,
which would mean that they
was
wouldn't be in NATO.
killed for no
So that's
reason
why he's
whatsoever.
urging them and encouraging
In the Middle
them
East, we're bringing
towards
back
self-determination,
our hostages from Gaza.
because it would be
In my
easier
first
for him
term,
to
we
make a play for
achieved one of
Greenland
the most groundbreaking
if they
peace
weren't
agreements
a territory
in
of Denmark.
generations, the Abraham Accords. And now we're going to build on that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with
Sure they
everything
have.
going on with Ukraine and Russia. But a lot of things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything.
This is like barely coherent. No anything. Mention Zelensky so I can mark off another spot.
Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
Not that. $2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that.
They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans, but I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine, by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and
astute
lots of good
observation.
things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe.
He's
that
referencing
they
a
wouldn't
comment
have stopped
Zelensky
and
made
said,
when he
at
was in
some
the Oval
point, come
Office,
on, let's
where he said, you
equalize.
have an
Let it
ocean
be
protecting
equal
you.
to
He was
us.
trying to
That
point out the
didn't
fact
happen.
that Russia
Earlier
will not
today, I
stop at
received an
Ukraine.
important letter
And he was
from
trying to say,
President
you're not feeling the effects of
Zelensky
what's
of
happening right
Ukraine.
now, but if you don't
The
help
letter
us,
reads, Ukraine is
you
ready
will,
to come
and that
to
ocean's
the
not always going to
negotiating
be
table as soon as
enough to protect
possible
you.
to bring lasting peace.
But he didn't get all of that
also.
out before Trump cut him off.
Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient.
Trans
for
Clark,
you.
thank you so much for the follow.
I appreciate
Welcome in.
that he sent this letter. Just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end this senseless war.
He literally
If you
just
wanna
cut
end
off
wars,
aid to
you have
Ukraine.
talk
I don't
to
know.
both sides. Nearly 4 years ago, amid rising tensions,
What he thinks
a
he's
history
doing.
teacher named Mark Fogel was detained in Russia and sentenced to 14 years in a penal colony. Rough stuff. The previous administration barely lifted a finger to help him. They knew he was innocent, but they had no idea where to begin. But last summer, I promised his 95-year-old mother, Malphine, that we would bring her boy safely back home. After 22 days in office, I did just that, and they are here tonight.
It was weird to hear him use the word penal. I'm not gonna lie. I cringed a little bit. Oh my god. These fucking fake bitches.
To Mark and his great mom, we are delighted to have you safe and sound and with us. As fate would have it, Mark Fogel was born in a
Not that
small
frosty
rural town in Butler, Pennsylvania.
How
Have
bad
you
was
heard
it
of
today? I mean,
where his
it was
mother has
pretty much,
lived for
it's been what
the
I've expected so
past
far.
78 years.
No
I
big
just happened
surprises.
to go there last July 13th for a rally.
Hi, Outback. Welcome in.
That was not pleasant. And that is where I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out.
There it
And a
is.
sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets
There it is.
from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life
Oh, and he
was
had to make
saved
the
by a
comment about the
fraction of
crowd
an
size,
inch,
of course.
but some were not so lucky.
We've got, what, 4 spots
Glory
left?
comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, and above all,
I still need Elon to
a
dance.
protector.
I don't care about the other three.
When the sound of gunshots
I really need
pierced
Elon to dance.
the air, was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. Two others, very fine people, were also seriously hit.
I hate to be the
But
one to admit it,
thankfully,
but
with
Miss
the
Thing on
help
the
of
left is
two
very pretty.
Great country doctors. We thought they were gone and they were
You don't think
saved.
we'll get the
Those
rest?
doctors had great talent. We're joined
I think
by
we'll
Corey's
get
wife, Helen,
at least one of them.
who was his
We need
high
Dems walk
school
out,
sweetheart,
Trump complains about
and their two
Zelensky, designated
beloved
survivor
daughters,
mention,
Allison and
and a
Kaylee.
dance from Elon. I have faith we'll get at least one of those. I think we'll get at least one of them.
To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his three beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country.
maybe wheels.
and
It's also
love
just for
like
fun,
Corey's
so
that is going
we don't
to
get them.
make
It's
our
not that
country
big of a deal.
more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason.
Treating us like a Trump. Of
I
course
was
he is.
saved
That's how
by
he treats
God to
every
make
speech he
America
makes.
great again. I believe that. Thank you. Thank you.
That's what he always does.
Thank you very much. From the patriots of Lexington and Concord to the heroes of Gettysburg and Normandy, from the warriors who crossed the Delaware to the trailblazers who climbed the Rockies, and from the legends who soared at Kitty Hawk to the astronauts who touched the moon, Americans have always been the people who defied all
Now he's back on
odds,
script.
transcended all dangers, made the most extraordinary sacrifices, and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom. And as we have seen in this chamber tonight, that same strength, faith, love, and spirit is still alive and thriving in the hearts of the American people. Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent
wheels.
nation that will always be free, and we will fight for it till death. We will never let anything happen to our beloved country.
He's not fighting for shit till death.
Because we
Let's
are
be
a
real.
country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors. Our ancestors crossed a vast ocean, strode into the unknown wilderness, and carved their fortunes from the rock and soil.
I would also be interested to hear
perilous
his definition
and
of
very
free.
dangerous frontier.
When he says we're a free
They
people.
chased our
what that
destiny
means to
across
him.
a boundless continent.
His tie is also
They built
really
the
ugly.
railroads, laid
It's
the
been distracting me
highways,
this entire
and graced
time.
the world with American marvels like the Empire State Building, the mighty Hoover Dam, and the towering Golden Gate Bridge. They lit the world with electricity, broke free of the force of gravity, fired up the engines of American industry, vanquished the communists, fascists, and Marxists all over the world, and gave us countless modern wonders sculptured out of iron, glass, and steel. We stand on the shoulders of these pioneers who won and built the modern age, these workers who poured their sweat into the skylines of our cities, These warriors who shed their
What?
blood on fields of battle and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. Now it is our time to take up the righteous cause of American liberty. And it is our turn to take America's destiny into our own hands and begin the most thrilling days in the history of our country. This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest.
I don't want to be dominant. I just want health care.
Communities anywhere in the world. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond.
Oh my God, he's so obsessed with Mars. That's Elon coming out. They both have this weird obsession with colonizing Mars.
And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up.
Again, for
and
who?
we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve.
Debatable. Lauren, calm down, girl.
My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Those women in pink could not get out of there fast enough. Melania looking confused again. Well. Even she's not buying it. Even she's like, what the fuck? I'm still waiting for Elon to dance. There's still time. There's still time. Cut to Elon. I know he's dancing right now. They'll start playing Village People and he'll really start to feel it.
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Great honor.
Not him telling them great job. Fuck, they do.
Get this place going, all right? Thank you. It's a great honor. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Count as a demo account.
Thank you.
Kinda.
I'm trying to. Great guy. Thank you.
That's weird.
That's your favorite.
That's weird to have a Supreme Court justice be like, you're teaching young people to love America again. That feels like something you probably shouldn't say if you're on the highest court in our entire country.
So good, sir. That's terrific, Mr. Really good. It's really outstanding. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Good job, Mr. President. Thanks.
All of this ass kissing, I could not. This is why I know I could never run for anything.
Mr. President, one of your best speeches.
Thanks again, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for the phone call last night, too. Thank you.
Absolutely. You know that. Thank you for your help. I'll do this. Give me the information.
I'm not going to get it.
Yikes.
Sorry.
Thank you, everybody. Great speeches.
Great speech.
Not this poor man keeps getting stuck right in front of the camera.
Best speech ever.
Yes.
Yikes.
President Roger Williams, thanks for the call.
I love Roger Williams.
Thank you.
You don't have to introduce yourself.
Mr. President.
I know you better than you do, Roger.
Thank you so much.
My great baseball player.
America
Good
is-
job. Great job you're doing.
America is back. Thank you so much,
Welcome you
Mr.
back in
President.
Pennsylvania anytime, sir.
They stood for
Thank you all.
This is so fucking weird.
That was phenomenal, sir.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
That was fantastic, sir. That was amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Quick selfie. Mr. President.
He did get an autograph, yeah. Now they're taking selfies and shit.
President back in Pennsylvania. Oh, they're just like absolutely.
I would literally, if I were president, when I'm president, first off, I would be giving all my addresses in full drag. I would show America the respect it deserves by attending all of these things in full drag. I'm not stopping to shake hands on the way in or on the way out. I'm walking straight to that podium, I'm saying what I need to say, and then we're all leaving. I'm not fucking around with this like schmoozy bullshit where all these people kiss my ass. No. No. You can Venmo me if you really appreciate me that much. Exclamation point tip in chat. I don't need all of this like excellent speech. America's back, Mr. President. Ew. Yikes. Not the pyro. Not the pyro.
You get down, good luck.
Cave, thank you for the bit.
Thank you, everybody. Good job.
Thank you for mentioning God needs to help us.
Thank you, Mr. President.
It's true.
Mr. President.
Ew.
Great speech. Great speech. Thanks for taking my call.
Good luck.
Technically, yes, Caves. Yep. So every bit is a penny. So you just tipped me 1 penny.
Tremendous.
Thank you
Mr.
so much. It all adds up.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the beneficial ownership and this week. That was a good time.
Thanks for mentioning farmers.
Well, we love our farmers. Thank you, man.
Thanks for mentioning farmers.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We're tired. Thank you, man.
Proud of you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much.
Make it great again, brother. Thank you. Good endorsement here.
I did.
Make America great again, brother.
Good endorsement.
Ugh, they're so disgusting.
Killed it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, everybody.
You did great.
Thank you.
This is his favorite part. He didn't even want to give the speech. He just wanted to this part.
Thank you, sir. You did amazing, per usual.
Thank you. I'll see you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. Hey, cheese. Thank you. Love you, Mr. President. Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Look at this.
Not her looping back around to get a picture.
Washington. We've never met.
Oh,
Michael
that's
Baumgartner.
good.
I was one of Mike Leach's best friends.
Oh,
He
that's
thinks
good.
very highly
Mike
of you.
was, he was great.
Tremendous.
He was a great guy.
Great
What a
speech. Great speech.
Yikes.
Respect for you. You did a great job. Yeah, thank you. Very
Home run, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
right.
Home run. Home run.
That was a good one.
Home run.
I appreciate it.
Home run. Mr. President.
to talk to you about some buildings, some public buildings.
You let me know.
I will. Thanks, sir. Mr. President.
I wonder if he knows that all these cameras can hear him too. I need to talk to you about some public buildings. What, you want to fucking knock them down or do you want to buy them? Hi, work. I know, the like brown nosing and just like unabashed like begging and clout chasing. And to be clear, that happens on both sides. Like this would have been maybe not just as bad, but it would have also happened if this were a speech we were hearing from Kamala. Like both parties do this shit. They just do it, I think, to a greater extent with him because that's the language he understands. Who are you? What are you doing?
The House will be in order.
That was the weakest mallet I've ever seen. Mama.
The House will be in order. For what purpose does the gentleman from Louisiana seek recognition?
Speaker, I move that the message of the President be referred to the Committee of the whole House on the State of the Union and ordered printed.
Without objection.
Okay.
Does the
Whatever. Oh, crowns don't mean anything. People can claim their crown once per stream, so you can like see how many times you've checked out a stream, but it doesn't. You don't like get anything for them. And each time it gives you like a random crown.
Does the gentleman from Louisiana have a motion?
Madam Speaker, I move that the House now stand adjourned.
The question is on the motion to adjourn. Those in
Girl,
favor
everybody's
say
already
aye.
gone. They're
Those
leaving.
opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. Accordingly, the House stands adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow for morning hour debate.
She said all the Republicans left before they actually formally closed this shit down, so I guess I'll do it. She said, I'll turn the lights out. Yikes. Not Fox Network. I thought we were watching PBS, honey. The lies. The lies we tell. Well, that happened. Huh. That happened. How do we feel? Those of us who made it through that. I noticed a lot of us couldn't hack it and couldn't stay the whole time. How do we feel? I like the stupid traditional stuff. How I don't know that it was necessarily that they left without doing it. Maybe that's exactly how it's supposed to be. I don't know, but who voted that older woman in? She could barely move. I mean, let's be clear. Like, you don't have to be able to move to be a lawmaker. Like, there's a difference between someone being like unqualified and us being like ableist or ageist. Like, someone's age or like body doesn't necessarily make them unqualified to do the job. I just thought it was funny that she seemed to really be struggling with that mallet. Nothing has changed. It's still him. The Federalist Society will continue to make comments. He will still fill judgeships with Federalist Society picks. Yeah, I don't think anything on this in this speech necessarily surprised me. I mean, there was a lot more than I expected of the sort of like token gestures, like the naming the refuge after that woman's daughter and like that kind of stuff. To me, I think that's a sign that he knows a lot of what he's doing is not as popular as he thought it was going to be. His approval ratings have been taking a hit. The economy is not in great shape, and signs point to it not getting better anytime soon. So I do think that he tried to hit on some of the like classics, some of his like greatest hits, to try to remind people of the things he's done that were more popular with his base. So yeah, I'm not sure who she was. I mean, they called her Madam Speaker, so she is probably a member of Congress and was just like the ranking member. There's like a hierarchy. So if like the Speaker of the House isn't there, there's a list of like who's next. So she must have just been whatever, like the highest ranking person left in the room, I would assume. That all that will probably be gone. The gavel's a minute. Will come in carrying this thing. Who knows what they'll do? I don't think it'll come to all that. So I would advise us to exercise caution. I know that it's really easy and sometimes it's fun for us to like wallow in the kind of doom of it all. But I don't think that that's necessarily particularly helpful. So I would just say, like, how weird do I think this will all get? I mean, it really comes down to how weird other people in Washington will let it get. I think also it's going to come down to how perception of Trump himself shifts within his own party, because we've seen already some willingness among mostly Republican senators to at least vote against some of the things he's trying to do, even if they're not necessarily like super vocal about it. That's a weird thing to make your first chat here, but okay. Yeah, his cabinet got approved, but again, there were Republicans who voted against some of those. That's my point. I'm not saying that the Republicans as a whole are going to stand up to him. I'm saying that there are individual Republicans who have shown a willingness and an eagerness even to vote against or stand up to some of the things he's trying to do. And I think what's going to matter is public opinion. If they perceive, I live in Maine, and I have my senator is Susan Collins, who is often one of those Republicans who votes with the Democrats. She's often cast as this sort of like very moderate voice, and usually she votes with them only when she's sure that the Republicans are going to win anyway. But if they start to perceive that there's some level of political cover for them, if they do go against the party, I think we might see more of them do so. What we've seen thus far, prior to this most recent election, was if you spoke up or fought against or ran counter to Trump in what he's trying to do, that was the end of your political career. You lost all support in the Republican Party. So, like I said, I think what will have the biggest bearing or the greatest bearing, also knowing how close some of these votes have already been, all it takes in either chamber is a few votes to switch. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. So it's not me trying to be positive. Let me be clear. I'm keenly aware of how shitty things are and that they are going to get worse probably before they get better, especially for some of us. And like I said, it's more a matter of like practicality. Sitting here and like cracking jokes and wallowing in it isn't going to change any of it. So I would urge you to seek out mutual aid organizations where you live. That is, I think, the most tangible, impactful thing you can get involved in to make real, like I said, tangible change for folks in your community. Because the government's not going to take care of us. They never have. Let's be clear. Like, a lot of the things that are happening are things that have always been the case here in the US. It's just either more, they're more open about it. It's accelerating in a lot of ways, but it's not like authoritarianism or fascism are necessarily like new in American politics. And that's why a lot of activists and leaders and mutual aid advocates are telling us, like, we've been trying to tell you for years that this was coming, and it's just maybe happening a lot faster because of this particular administration, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't something that already existed here and has existed for decades. Seen a lot of people on Facebook be far too vocal about her trying to say she should resign. Well, I think she should resign. Let me be clear. I don't like Susan Collins. In case that wasn't clear, I don't like Susan Collins. I can't stand the woman. I don't think she has any backbone whatsoever. She tries to stake this like middle moral high ground for herself and act like she's always just voting her conscience. But she's also demonstrably voting against her own. She contradicts herself on an almost consistent, regular basis. There is no clear like moral compass that she's following. It's very clear that she's strategic in how she votes to try to maintain this sort of middle lane for herself. Jared Golden does the same thing. Jared Golden is my member of Congress. He today posted again on Facebook about how he's actually excited about the tariffs and he thinks it's going to reset the American economy and bring all this manufacturing back to the United States, and we should just give it a chance, even though it's going to be rough for a little while at first. I don't want him in office anymore either. I don't like either of them, but they are the people who I think, maybe not him, but she certainly is one of the people that we have the best chance of stunting any of his agenda with. It's going to require her to get on board, whether or not we like that. US is probably overall on the downhill, and the events happening are results of it. Sure, yeah. That's kind of my point. Like, a lot of these things are, like the economic decline, our position as like the preeminent and only superpower in the world. Those things were all already declining for us. We were already losing ground diplomatically, economically, competitively to China, for example, particularly in places like Africa, and places like Latin America, places that we've historically exploited, and now China's exploiting them, and they are now closer economically to China than they are to us. So that weakens our influence, that weakens our ability to, without invading militarily, to influence what happens in other countries. That has all been happening for, again, decades. It's accelerating because we have Donald Trump in office. He is making all of these. It's like climate change. Climate change has been something that's happening really ever since the Industrial Revolution. But it's speeding up now because we're doing less and less to stop it. It's the same sort of phenomenon. All of these things, none of them are new issues. None of these are things that Donald Trump caused. A lot of them are things that have existed within the US political dynamic for generations. And he's more open about it. He doesn't try to hide it or brand it as, democracy or progress or protecting our national security. And he's accelerating a lot of it. Susan Collins is up for re-election in 2026. The members of the House of Representatives, your congressman or congresswoman, they're up for re-election every 2 years. Every 2 years, the entire House of Representatives is up for re-election, and then the senators are up every 6 years. So a third of the Senate is up for re-election every 2 years. It's like a staggered situation. So Susan Collins has already said she'll run for re-election in 2026. That's next year. Which is wild because she's also getting up there and she's been in the Senate for fucking ever. So that's who we'll probably end up seeing a lot of money pumped into that race, depending on who runs against her. There's a lot of talk that Janet Mills is going to run against her because she's going to be term limited as our governor. Five Calls is an app that will give you contact. Yep, we talk about that. I have a Discord server and we talk about that app a lot. I use it every day. It's on my homepage on my phone. Very helpful. You just put in your zip code, and it gives you a list of like pertinent current issues, and it gives you information for your congresspeople, your senator. Sounds good, Wheels. Have a good night. I'm gonna head to bed soon too. But I just want to kind of like wrap things up, and I always feel weird doing these co-streams and then just being like, all right, bye. I know sometimes people need to like kind of talk it out or process things, and not all of us have other people to do that with, so. To do it more. I forget sometimes. A lot of the time I get, and this just might be because I typically call kind of in the evenings, I usually get their voicemail. So it is important that if you call and get their voicemail, make sure to leave your address too. Don't just say that you're a constituent. Make sure to share your address too, to make sure that your feedback gets tallied. But I love that app. It also gives you good scripting. I know a lot of us are like nervous about making phone calls or whatever, or you're not really sure what to say. You're not sure if you know enough about it to really like speak on it. But it gives you like scripting you can use to point blank say like, this is what I'm calling for. Here's the stance I want you to take. Here's what how I want you to vote. Whatever it is, the circumstances of that particular issue. Not the post nightmare commentary. Honestly, I mean, like, I was expecting the entire, it was like almost 2 hours of speech, thanks to all of the standing ovations and interruptions, but I was expecting the whole thing to be more like the first kind of like 10-15 minutes were. How like very pointed and contentious it was, how much the Democrats were like kind of engaging and pushing back. I was expecting that to be the case the entire time. So not to say that it was like, oh, it went better than I thought it would, but it wasn't as, I think, heated as I was kind of expecting it to be. He was giving like hellfire and brimstone, but I think it was more trying to give more fodder to like his base. He was almost the entire time he was giving the speech to that side of the room, and then just taking shots here and there at the Democrats. So thank you, Caves. You too. I appreciate it. Thank you again for the bit. we don't just do politics on this stream. I do sometimes do like gaming and stuff, but I do want to try to be more consistent with the kind of current event stuff. I do also have a podcast. I know, another white dude with a podcast, but I promise this is a good one. It's not like the other ones. So lots of content and material to check out there. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. I think that's enough for me for one night. I don't know about you. It feels weird to be like, let's play a game now, because I just want to go like I want to go break things. I don't want to go play a video game. And most of the video games I play are just gonna make me more angry and not make me feel any better, so but anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the new followers today. I will be back. What's today? Tuesday? Maybe Thursday? I don't know. Maybe a co-working stream. I haven't done one of those in a hot minute, so maybe we'll do a daytime co-working stream sometime this week. But go ahead and make sure to follow me on all the socials to find out. Socials, hello. I always try to post I don't have like a set schedule, but when I stream, I try to post at least on like Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram usually. So follow there. If you're not already in the Discord, you can join there too. Other than that, thank you all so much for hanging out tonight. I appreciate it. Obviously things are not great right now, but as I always say, lean into community, lean into mutual aid, lean into each other, because we will take care of ourselves and each other better than any government ever will. So with that, thank you for hanging out tonight. I love you all. And I will see you on the internet whenever I see you. Okay, love you, bye.